Hey there! So there are a lot of people now transitioning to raw food, fruitarian, and they just don't know how to do it. So best way to be successful in any field of endeavor is to research. Watch a bunch of YouTube videos, go to the forums, check out 30bananasaday.com, check out the forums, buy some books, go on Amazon, just type in raw food, fruitarian, buy a bunch of books. Ones I can quickly recommend right off the bat would be Ann Osborne's Path to Paradise. Another one, of course, 80-10-10. Another really great one is called, I forget what it's called, but I'll post it right down below. I always forget the name of it. Big, thick green book. Amazing book. But I somehow forget the name of it. But yeah, so just research, and stay inspired. You need to stay inspired if you want to stay the course. In order to stay, only way to really motivate yourself is to have some sort of inspiration. So find people who inspire you and just learn everything you can about them, and kind of just act as they would act, and you'll just flow right along. It's awesome. But some of the questions people have when transitioning, they want to know how much fat to eat, and I would say to that, man, have as much raw fruit fat as you can. Raw fruit being the source of fat, not nuts and seeds. So right off the bat, stay away from nuts and seeds. Nuts and seeds. The purpose of going fruitarian is because it makes sense on all levels. It makes sense across the board. Eating nuts and seeds doesn't really make sense because the purpose of the nut and the seed is to grow into a tree that can then produce, good things like clean air and shelter for animals and more nuts and seeds. The purpose of a nut and seed is to sprout and to grow into more of itself. And the purpose of a fruit is to eat it and then to plant the seed. Either you plant the seed by swallowing it and pooping it out, ideally in nature, or you just take this, bite into it, spit the seed out, or at the end, like an avocado, you have the big pit, you just throw it out, or dig it in a hole, whatever. So that fulfills the purpose. So it's purposeful eating. So how much fat to eat? Eat as much fruit fat as you want. You'll probably find that you won't be able to eat more than like 4 or 5 avocados in a day. That's like tops. But and you'll also find that the more cardio you do, the more fitness you're doing, you probably want a little bit less fat. You probably want more carbohydrates like bananas, dates, that sort of thing. But definitely when you're transitioning, especially when you're transitioning, you're gonna want some denser foods, some denser sources of calories. So fats are a good option there. And some other fruits along the line of dense fruits would be dried fruits like raisins, dates, prunes, and then some fresher, denser foods like mangoes and bananas, that sort of thing. But yeah, you definitely don't want to avoid the fat. That's when you're transitioning. Just you're coming off cooked food. You're probably coming off standard American food, which is absolute crap, and toxins get stored in your fat cells. So if all of a sudden you go like no fat or super low fat, then a lot more toxins are going to get released a lot more quickly, and so you're going to be experiencing a lot more detox symptoms. And especially when you're transitioning, you want to slow down the detox symptoms. So denser foods are going to do that as well. So bananas, dates, avocados, it's going to slow down the detox. So just keep that in mind. And then of course, if you want to speed up the detox when transitioning, you just go on like a juice fast or water fast or something, but wouldn't recommend that to many people because it's not a sustainable way of keeping the results that you get. So yeah, so when transitioning, don't fear the fat, load up on the heavy foods. And then some other things to keep in mind is that you want to have a backup plan. Definitely want to have a backup plan, because when going raw, it sounds cool and you want to do it and other people are doing it, so why can't you? Well, big reason is physiologically you're not yet adapted to it. So your stomach, when you eat cooked food, your stomach has adapted to being very, very small. Cooked food is very dense in calories. So if you notice, you go to a restaurant, you order like $30 worth of food, it's very small in volume because it's so dense in calories. So your stomach doesn't need to expand too much to fill it up. You only need to eat like this much cooked food to really feel full. So your stomach just isn't used to the high volume of fruit. So you need to give it like a month, 2-3 months to really adapt to be able to expand. Like I could sit down beside any hungry standard North American eater and out eat them I would eat them in oranges, I would eat them in melons, I would eat them in mangoes, anything. I could eat out any standard North American eater just because my stomach is able to stretch. It's become so much larger. So you need to understand that when you start eating fruit, you're gonna feel fuller a lot quicker. You're just gonna say like, oh, I can only eat like 10 oranges, I can only eat like 3 bananas or 4 bananas in one sitting. But if you give yourself time, you'll be able to fit in more calories. Even the girls out there, I know girls sit down with me, eat 10 bananas, no problem. So your stomach will just adapt. Now, not saying everyone should go eat 10 bananas, but it depends on your height, current weight, activity level, all sorts of things. But just know that most people are able to fit in 10 bananas when they've been on a fruitarian diet long term, just because their stomach's expanded. So you want to have a backup plan because of that, because you're not able to fit in all the calories. So a good backup plan would be, don't go back to the cooked food. Like a lot of people are saying, have a backup plan, go back and eat cooked food. That's not a backup plan, that's just going back to where you were. So a true backup plan is something that's going to keep you moving along in the direction of your choosing, which is raw food path. But at the same time, it's going to allow you to be a little bit more flexible with where you eat the food and how you eat it and that sort of thing. So a big reason people have to resort back to a backup plan is simply because they can't help the cravings. They just have way too many cravings and they go back and eat the food. But most won't admit to that. Most will just admit, like they'll just say, oh, I was out and I didn't bring enough food with me and I got really hungry, so I had to eat this. Or I was driving and I just had to pull over and grab some food because I was starving, that sort of thing. But really what it comes down to is craving that cooked food so bad that you have to eat it. You can't help yourself, but that's totally okay. Unless you really want to stay raw, then load up on the pasteurized juice. You can get that anywhere, no excuses there. You can go to any store, buy a bunch of pasteurized juice and drink that up. That's not going to halter your detox or anything. That's just going to go right through you. It's not going to mess you up or anything. So not raw juice, but pasteurized juice, really cheap, really affordable. Anyone can afford it. It's available anywhere all year round. You can always have it in your house as well, so you never run out of that. And it tastes amazing. Cooked food typically does not taste amazing unless you add salt to it. So we want to stay away from salt. So yeah, cooked food very bland. Make pasteurized juice instead your backup option. Second bit in the backup plan would be dried fruit, like I mentioned before. A lot more dried fruit. Again, that's always available in all the stores. It's always you can carry it around in your house at all times. You carry it around in your house. You have it in your house at all times, in the fridge, in the cupboards and everything. So dried fruits like prunes, dates, raisins, apricots, bananas. You want to make sure though when you're getting dried fruit, they're unsulfured. You don't want sulfur in your dried fruit. It'll make you super gassy. So a bunch of dried fruit, and then you don't, just because you have dried fruit, you don't need to eat it dried. You can soak it and then blend it up into a smoothie. Really good stuff. Or you can eat it dried, no problem. Just eat it as is. That's the beauty of dried fruit, is that you can either eat it rehydrated or dried on its own. So that would be my suggested backup plan: pasteurized juice and dried fruits. And then if you want to stay, like on the fresher fruits, then eat more avocados. Eat more avocados. Eat more bananas. Honestly, for me, my backup plan now, after being fruitarian for over 4 years, my is bananas. Bananas are my backup food. My backup is then the pasteurized juice. But on a day-to-day basis, if I have to have some more heavier foods to get me through, if I'm just feeling a bit more heavier foods, then I'll go for the bananas and the dried fruits like raisins and dates. But optimally, at this point in my path, at this point in my journey, I'm loading up on the oranges. Here's 50 pounds of oranges right here. All that for 30 bucks. So gotta know the farmer, get a discount. But meet a farmer, talk to them, befriend them, and get a discount. Promise them you're gonna be buying heaps each week, and they'll give you a lower price, no problem. But anyways, I thrive on juicy fruits. I know many other people who also thrive on juicy fruits, and it's the way to go if you want to really enjoy what you're eating and you want to feel really light at all times. You don't want to ever feel stuffed. But if you do want to feel stuffed, no problems. Just eat bananas, avocados, some dates, whatever. But moving on now, do I eat vegetables? Would I recommend you eat vegetables? I wouldn't recommend eating stuff like broccoli or cauliflower. unless it's or cabbage, unless it's been like fermented. Fermented with no salt. So you can get some like raw kimchi and stuff, no salt. It's just fermented. Basically, it's already pre-digested stuff. It's already broken down by the probiotics and stuff. But that stuff's super easy to digest. But on a day-to-day basis, no, I wouldn't eat vegetables unless it's celery. Celery is the one vegetable I'd eat. And then leafy greens. Sure, I'll eat some leafy greens. I'll eat some romaine. I'll eat some baby bok choy, some baby kale even. I love baby kale. But romaine, baby spinach is good too. No other vegetables. Vegetables are pretty hard to digest. They're hard to digest, low calories, low vitamins, and they don't typically taste amazing. I like to eat things that are high in calories, taste amazing, and digest with ease, digest a treat. So that's the way you want to go. That's the way I go. Another thing too is that you can't just expect changing your diet to fix everything. You need to really, if you really want to thrive across the board, yeah, sure, focus on diet, because your diet probably coming from before it probably stinks, but also focus on sleep. Sleep is so huge, and people feel guilty about getting enough sleep. Can you believe that? If someone gets like 10, 11 hours of sleep, they're like, oh, I slept too much, blah, I slept like too much, blah, blah. It's not, I just wasted all my day, blah, blah, blah. But no, you need to get enough sleep. If you're not getting like 10, 11 hours sleeps each night, then you're probably not working out enough, you're not exercising enough. And that's the third thing. You gotta exercise heaps. So nutrition, sleep, and activity. So aim for, with nutrition, you want to be raw, of course. Fruit raw, organic if possible, juicy fruits. And then diet, sleep, you want to get 10, 11, even 12 hour sleeps if you need. 12-hour sleeps are awesome, especially if you're being super active. And look into sleeping without a pillow. I haven't slept with a pillow in now 3 years or so. So sleep without a pillow, best move I ever made. It allows you to travel and sleep anywhere. Like I can sleep. This is how I sleep, by the way. I sleep on my side. There, you guys are getting witness me sleep. This is how it's done, just like that, no problem. You can go like that if you want, but no point. And if you really want to like transition to this, just like raw food, you can't just do it all of a sudden. But you want to sleep without a pillow transitionally. You just get something like that thin, right there, and that itself is a pillow. So boom, I feel like, for me right now this does not feel comfortable because it's up too high. I'm used to just flat like that. It's perfect, super comfy. So that's sleep. Get your lots of sleep. Get heaps of sleep. And then if you're not able to get heaps of sleep, probably not working out enough. And don't want to work out enough because you're not getting enough sleep, or you're not getting enough proper nutrition. So best way to work out a lot is to find an activity that you really love doing, whether it's bodyweight squats, whether it's running, whether it's swimming, biking, climbing, rock climbing, riding your horse. I don't know, is that exercise? I don't know. Let me know. Post in the comments down below if you're a horse rider and that's good exercise. I don't really know any overweight horse riders, so must be pretty good. But find an activity that you love and then just do it often. Do it very often. And try to be active. Try to be active like 1, 2, 3, 4 hours a day, honestly. Like humans, you look at any child, in a neighborhood, in a community, go to any like summer camp or something, kids are always moving. We're designed to be moving. If a kid's sitting down, you're thinking, what's wrong with that kid? Like, something's wrong. Like, kids just sitting there. Something's wrong with a child. And we're no different than children in that we're designed to also be very physically active all day. Every day. If some days you need more rest than others, sure, take the rest. Hope that wasn't too confusing. Hope this video was helpful. And if you guys want some fitness related videos, check out my other channel, Do You Feel the Burn? We're going to be posting an onslaught of videos in the coming weeks. So check it out, Do You Feel the Burn on YouTube. And if you like this video, subscribe, comment, rate. Thanks a lot. Peace.